Okay, so we're gonna do a little email automation here, and I want to email a picture. So, as part of a larger project that I did, I ran into this problem where I was trying to email this picture out, where the users, when they have a form, so throw the view here, they complete the form, and as part of that, they here you pick from these different memes to include as part of it. And so when they pick one, I need to be able to send them the picture. I don't want to, have to like look for it themselves or something like that. So I want to send that in the email. So we'll make that once they've selected all their stuff, they're gonna be able to get this, and then hey, so when they create a record, this automation we're gonna want to have is send out that picture. We'll go back to the other view, go back to grid view here, and there's a couple of pictures there. Oh, my face is in the way. Let's see if I can move my face out of the way. Perfect. It'll look better over there anyway. And we'll click done on that, and then we'll add another action we want to send. So you can, if you're using this send email, just so we're clear, it's going to try and you have to have like, I think SendGrid maybe like hooked up to this or something along those lines. We're just going to use a Gmail account. We've got a couple linked up there, and so we're going to use, hey, we want to use the information from the first one. We're going to insert the email that comes with it. Subject is your content for the month. And the message is, hello, and then we put in their name. It's a little bit extra, but at least you get a little bit of context as to what I was doing. Here are your pictures to include. And as you can see in the user, so when they link on the form, then that picture I have, as a lookup right here. Or this is how I originally set it up, thinking like, oh, I could bring this information in. And so I want to include that picture. So I go and here's me, and as you can see here, it's not letting me bring in that I can go to memes even, and here's the ID. I can kind of like click in. All he has is a length thing. That doesn't do me any good. I try and, as you can see, here's the meme lookup. This property cannot be used right now. Okay, fantastic. So I'll just go into the meme and see if because it's linked, see if I can find into the name. And again, you just get that length, and that doesn't help me send the picture. So I had a space, and I had to like kind of dig around to try and figure out how I can include a picture, or at least something that sends the picture to the recipient. So we'll back out, and here's the completed image automation. And here's our name, image. So I had to come up with something that could be used. And I realized I can probably use the image URL, so they can download it. So I'll unhide these, show all. So now we're bringing back. So I expanded this out. This is a checkbox, this run, and I'll kind of shorten this up so we can kind of see a little bit better. And then here's where I want the image URL to be. And what I did here was put as you see, I still have it called manual. I created a new view that is filtered to only things that are checked. So as you can see, it's not there. So if I go back to the grid view and I check it, you'll now see that that's there. So you filter this, hey, where when run is checked, it brings it in. That way I could use that as the trigger to the automation. Now let me get back to that other view. I just want to show this. So this one's checked. These ones are not. And we'll come up with an automation for that. So we'll call this image URL. I'll choose a trigger, and it's when the record enters the view. So we select our table, which in this case is going to be the mean, and the view will be the manual URL strip out. And we'll run the test. Thinking about it, it likes that. Okay, so we're done there. And we'll add the action. We want to update the record. So when a record, select the table, it's the same one. And we'll use the record ID that carried through. So when this changes, that puts it into the view. That means it enters that view, and then it starts to automate on that. And we'll choose the field that we want to update. So in this case, it's the image URL. Here's the image field. We're going to click continue to go into it. And here's that URL, which as you can see is dl.airtable. Cool. I'm going to click insert, and then we're going to click run test, and you'll actually see it work here. See, and there's that URL. So you would think now that's done. We're going to turn the automation on, and now I just click the rest of these and it'll bring in that URL. Unfortunately, I want to say not so fast, my friend. I'll delete that last one. As you can see, for some reason, I don't know why, this URL is different. So this is nice and short. This, however, is super long. So when I finally was able to include this in the email, it didn't include it all as a link. I guess you could like copy it, but it's just massive and it looks terrible in the email. I mean, the link itself doesn't look great in the email, but at least it's short. At least this style, whatever this is short. This thing is massively long and doesn't all come through as a link into the email. So what I ended up doing was literally, and I'll show you how I did this. As you can probably guess, it's called manual URL. So fortunately, I'm not just constantly uploading pictures. I use a set base of pictures, so I just had to sit and kind of go through this. So instead of turning this on, I actually kept this off. And I was like, okay, so now this is the only one checked. So I'll click test again. The only one it should be testing now is this record. And then keep this open, scroll down, click test again. And you see it change to the dl.airtable. I apologize for my hair constantly falling into my face here. And then I would uncheck that, check this, scroll up, click test again, click test again, and I just had to make it. So despite it being in the automation, and I don't know how to pull, other than this method, I don't know how to when you can't really click in, to pull that information any other way than through the automation of manually adding that to the URL. Which then brings us back to the thing. So it's like, oh, okay, so instead of, I just thought like this linked thing, it just didn't like the picture. So I changed this to, hey, we're going to customize this field and we're just going to look up the URL. And there's that dl.airtable. Perfect. I conclude that that should be able to be brought in. So we'll go back to our email automation that we're trying to run. And here's your pictures to include. And I'll try and grab that field. As you can see, it just looks like any lookup field can't be brought in. Okay, this one's a little bit easier to kind of fool the automation into believing. You're gonna insert to the right here, field 8, and we'll call this meme. As you see, there's two different memes I was trying to send out. Meme image URL, and we're going to use a formula. So use a formula, and all the formula is going to be is meme lookup. That's it. This is that field, and it's going to bring in the exact same information that's there. But we'll come up here and to make sure that has all the information. Test that. And we'll come down to, there's the meme lookup, that's not working, but here's that meme image URL, and I can insert that into the automation. That actually works. So that now we'll send them that. And then when I click run test, that actually worked. So it's probably a very narrow use case, but if you're trying to send a picture from that's uploaded into your Airtable and via Gmail, you have to strip out the URL and you have to strip out this URL. So you kind of have to do those manually. If you had to do that, if you had to do that on the fly where people were uploading images, which isn't really a thing because it doesn't support, like, that doesn't get supported in a form, I don't believe you can have a form where there's an image uploader. So all images that you have in here should be kind of located already in your base. But if you have another use case, hey, reach out to me, let me know. I can give that a look. But if your use case is you want to include some form of a picture that needs to be downloaded, strip out the URL and then have a lookup field, find the URL, and a formula field that can find it. And then you can just, since on this, we don't even need the look, because they're basically the same. You could hide one of those, just to make your data look neater. But that's how you can send an image in Gmail with an Airtable automation.